Okay, something else that you can also do is I've done one there, and I'm going to do another one in here. That's 2. Let's just do 3, 4. Then you can come in here just with a single crochet. That makes it 5, and I'll do another 6, 7, and then in this one 2. That's 8. Those are just single crochets, and it gives you a different look. So that's 8, 9, 10. I'll do another one, 11. Well, let me rather go, 11. And then one more right in the end, and 12. So feel free to do different things. You know, I'm just specifically staying with mine a little bit more like this in the holy part, but I have done a few single crochets, which just gives it a little bit of a different look. But you don't have to, but it's just something different if you want to do something else to your bracelet. And yeah, so I'm going to keep going until I get close to where I want to be, and then I'll show you what mine looks like. Alright, so when you feel that your bracelet is more or less the right length for you, mine might be a tad big, but it's okay. Then depending on what you're going to do, but I'm going to do the red on this side and do the red on this side as well. Totally up to you as to what you want to do. And you can, this is the right side over here, it doesn't really matter which side is your right because you're going in rows. But if you have a preference, I can see that this side looks more right than not. Then you either want to do take one row out or do an extra row. It's up to you. I mean, as I say, it's not going to be the end of the world. No one's really going to see it there. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is, remember, you got to change your color. You want to finish the last part of your stitch with your new color. So I'm going to take my red and I'm going to just finish off this stitch with the right color. And all I do is I just hold my piece over here. There's so many different ways, but I just do it like that. It's easier. And then I'll do 1, 2, 3. Because remember, I did a row of double crochets. So now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to just do the same thing, double crochets, and make sure that I have 12 stitches because I used 12. So that was number 1. And this I'm just doing double crochets. Now, depending on how you've done your work over here, it's going to depend how many you put in each. But I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll have to put about 4 in each of these. So then I'll get more or less the same look. Alright, so now once you've finished your other side, or however you're doing yours, what I'm going to do is I take these little, I'm actually not sure what they're called. These hooks. I think it's called an eye and a hook. But it's just one of these little hooks like this, and this is I've now taken the really small ones. You can go with the bigger ones, and then this is the other parts to it. So I'm taking these and I'm going to put 2 on each side. I'm going to put 2 of these, one over there and one over here, and then I'm going to put 2 of these ones on the opposite side, so that you can just hook them on to each other. I make all my bracelets like that, but if you have a different idea, it's possible to use a button, but it gets a bit too advanced, and these work really well for me. Now you can go with the bigger ones. I've got a whole bunch of these bigger ones, but I don't know that I want to go quite that big. You don't really see it, so it's not an issue if you do go with the bigger ones. I see how these work, but that's what I will be doing on mine. Now if you want to do a border on your bracelet, I'm going to look and see what kind of a red border I can just do over here, but you can leave it as it is, or you can do a bit of a border. So I'm going to have a look at that, but that's what you'll use to sew them up, and you want to sew all your little threads in. So you can do that. I think before you sew it in, if you are doing a border, you're going to want to do your border first. But yeah, so that's where we are going with this project. Alright, so I've decided to make a bit of a border on mine, so that's what I've done on mine. All I did was 4 double crochets together so it brings them in a little bit, and that's what it looks like there. Now I started mine on this side, so just start on any side that you want to. I'll show you what I did. Now you can see here I should have had them a little bit closer on this side. They're pulling a little bit, but I didn't feel like undoing it now. So I'm going to leave my, because it kind of works. You can see this is a little flatter, so that's what it means by it pulling a bit. But I think when I come around I'm going to do a few chains, so it'll fix this problem over here. As I say, it's free form, so you can do it whichever way you like. I started in the one corner. And I just did 4 double crochets together, and then I did chain 2. And you want to keep them, you know, they do come in quite a bit, so you can do them almost in every row that you've done. Basically here I didn't. I should have done this one here. It was a little different the way I did my stitches, so that's why. But anyway, it works out well. So I'm going to come around now. If you made yours a little bit shorter, here you can keep doing this all the way around, or do double crochets or something. Mine is a little bit longer, so I can't fool around too much here. So all I did was slip stitch. I just slip stitch all the way across this. I didn't have to cut my yarn off and restart on this side. So if you want to restart, you can, but it's not necessary. So basically all that you're doing is I'm going into the corner. I'll do one more slip stitch there. And then obviously for your first one you have to do chain 3, because that stands for your first double crochet. And then in the same space do another one, but don't finish it, okay? Leave the one stitch on, yarn over. This would be number 3. Just go through 2, yarn over, go into the same space, go through 2, and then you're going to go through all 4, and then you're going to chain 2. Okay, and that's giving you that look. Now this one is right on the edge and this one isn't, so I'm going to have to bring this one in a little bit more than what I would have. So I'm going to see what happens if I put it here, but I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, see, well, it could. It might still pull it when I do that one. So play with yours, but as I say, that's all I'm doing for my border. You know, you can design something, it's, you know, free form, see what works best on yours, and if you don't like this look, don't use it. If you do like it, it's also great. And you could do less double crochets or do single crochet, or, you know, whichever works for you. Now, see, that one's a little bit on the edge, so I'm going to see if I come into this one, not there, if it will pull it a little bit and bring it in more. I don't know that it's going to work, so I might have to undo that and do it in a little further. Let's see. No, it's actually fine. It'll work there, because I've pulled this a little bit, so my sides are pretty even. It's not too bad, and that's the part that you tie anyway, so it's not going to be seen that much. So yeah, that's all that I'm doing on mine, and I'm just going to do that all the way around. And as I say, I slip stitch over the one part, and then once I've gone around with mine, I'll come back and I'll show you how we sew on our these little hooks that we want to put on the end. So yeah, I think it's going to look nice. I'm going to still make a little flower. I'm going to do it in the pink, so I'm going to make a little flower to put on this. You know, you might find this now is pretty thick for you. You might not want it to be that thick on as a bracelet. I like it. I think it's a pretty good size. I like it. I think it's a nice size for me. I like it like that. And yeah, so really, I mean, it's all your own design. Now, if you want to be a little more specific and not have this all over the place, you know, free forming, that you can do that. I mean, you can just do double crochets. You can do the same kind of a pattern. Just write it down what you did. You know, you did 2 rows of something here, 2 rows of something there, 2 rows again of that. So play with it. That's what it's there for. But once you got the flower on, it's also going to look really pretty. I'll make a real small one that we can put on here. I do have one. I've got a few here, but they're obviously in different colors. This is quite a nice little one. Obviously not this color, but that one would actually look quite nice there. This is going to be too big. That I'm using in a different video. but that's going to be too big, so we'll make one that looks good for that. But anyway, go ahead, do your border so that I can show you how we're going to put our little hooks on here, and then we'll make our flower, and then that's your bracelet done. And then you have made 2 projects, which is awesome. Your own design, no pattern, and I'm sure that you've done an incredible job. So saying all that, I'm going to finish mine and then I will get back to you. Alright, so you should have a right and a wrong side now if you did a border, because your border you would have done all on the same side. I didn't actually slip stitch across mine on this side, I just did it on this side because mine, as I said, was a little bit longer. But I just want to show you a little trick now that you're sewing your threads on. If the eye of your needle is a little bit small, one useful tip is, and you can't get this thread in, wrap it around, spread it out a little bit so that these pieces are flat, and fold it over your needle like that and squash them in between your fingers as tight as you can, and then just bring them through there like that. Okay, it's not too hard. Just flatten this the best you can, even if you have to spit on it. It sounds funny, but it does work. And then just flatten this the best you can, tight in between your fingers, and then push it through here. There's a bit of an art to it, but it really does work. So I thought I'd just show you that. And then just go ahead and sew your work into the back of these, in the back of your work and into all your stitches, and then just cut them off. And that's all I'm doing. I like to do mine quite a few times just to be sure that they're safe, and then cut your yarn off, and that's all you're going to do. So I'm going to sew mine in and I will meet you here. Alright, so I have decided that I'm not going to use these little ones, these pieces. I'm going to just sew my hook on, and I'm going to hook it onto my actual crocheting over here, which is going to be a lot easier than trying to sew these little things on. And it's not really necessary. I'm just using the leftover yarn for this actual one. I'm putting one on each side. So this is my wrong side of the work. Okay, so take the wrong side of your work, and that's the wrong side, and I'm going to put it on this side over here, on the wrong side, because it's going to flip over and catch your right side, the other side. So anyway, so just put it wherever you want yours. And because mine is so small, this is a little bit finicky to work with. But anyway, I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to hold it there, and all you do is you come into these little holes at the bottom and sew it. Oops. And now mine is going the other way. Okay, just like that. Oh dear. It is quite tricky, but anyway, let's turn him over and see if I can put it down. Alright, there we go. And then I'm going to come under, and I'm going to go into the other hole. Now because this is pretty thick, I'm not going to be able to get too many sewings done here, but as long as it's tight enough, that's all that you want. Okay, there we go. Now I've got him in place. Once he's in place, it's a little bit easier. So that's all I'm going to do is sew it into this little hole. I'm just sewing it into that little hole and into my work. And then I'm going to do the other one on this side. And then I'll show you how we're actually just going to hook it onto there. So if you want to use a bigger hook, it's also fine, whichever works for you. So anyway, do that. If you want to use a bigger hook, it might be a little bit easier than this small one, and depending on how it's going to hook onto your work, because then when you put your bracelet on, or your whatever it is, all I'm going to do is hook it onto my actual work, and it will be just perfect. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And you can't see it. You actually can't see it, so it's perfect for when you wear it. Just be sure that it's lying in the right place where you want it to fall, because that's how it's going to fall. And then you have your bracelet. Now if you want yours to stretch more, then don't make it quite as long as I have. Mine's actually fine for me. I don't like tight things. I don't like mine too tight. But anyway, that's what it looks like. So, I mean, I like it. Really nice. That's what it looks like on this side. You know, I'll be interested to see what yours looks like. As I say, if you want to put a flower on, I'm going to make one. and I'm going to put just a small one on here, but mine's actually fine by itself. It doesn't need one. But I'm going to make a little one because you might want the flower. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So finish your bracelet, and I'm going to go ahead and make the little flower and show you how to do it. And then you will just sew that onto here. So let's keep going. Alright, just a little tip when you're actually sewing on your little hooks. If you don't want to use the full crochet cotton, just take a few strands out and use that cotton to sew that in, because that will be useful. So anyway, we're going to start with our flower. I'm going to make it fairly small so that it'll fit nicely in this. Now I've just halved this. Put it in the half because that's how you want it, and then you want your flower to fit in the center of that. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into this very first chain that we have over here. Okay, then I'm going to do 1 chain, and then I'm going to do 10 single crochets in this little hole that we have. So now we're going to do 10. So that's 1, 2, and 10. Then you're going to slip stitch into the very first stitch over here that you have. Into this very first stitch, just slip stitch. Alright, then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do a double crochet in the same place, another double crochet in the same place, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the next stitch. Just slip stitch into that stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 3. And this you're going to keep repeating. 1, 2, 3, another 2 double crochets in the very same space as you made that other chain, this chain 3. So 1, 2, and then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay, and slip stitch in the next stitch. So then you're going to do the same thing again, chain 3. So for each petal you're using 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3, double crochet in the same space, double crochet in the same space, chain 3, and slip stitch in the next stitch. Slip stitch in the next stitch and chain 3. So do that all the way around until you have 5 of these petals, and I will meet you back after that. So I went all the way around. You should have 5 little petals, and I slip stitched into that next stitch, and then I'm going to just finish it off by slip stitching into the next stitch and then bringing my yarn through. And that's your little flower. Now you can do something else to it with different color. If you want to go all around your petal with a different color with just single crochet, you could, but I'm happy with mine. Or if you wanted to do your center part a different color, but I've already got quite a bit going on mine, so I didn't want to do any more. And that's the little flower, and I'm just going to take these threads and sew it onto there and sew it into the center of my bracelet, and voila, there's the bracelet. So yeah, and then when you block it, where you wet your actual, you wet this and you stretch it out so that it's the size you want it, and it'll be perfect. So yeah, there is your bracelet, guys. So I'm so pleased that you joined me for this course. It's been awesome to teach you the things that I know, and I hope that you've enjoyed this class. Please show me what you've designed and what you've made. I'd love to see pictures, and whatever you have, I'd love to see it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks guys, bye.